Viewpoints on the talk station, FM 107, AM 1240. This afternoon, we have a special program. We're going to spend a few moments this afternoon with our foreign editor of Look Ahead Radio, who has been living, of course, in London now for many years, an expat. And we speak with him every Wednesday evening, but tonight we're talking with him on a special program in relationship to the events yesterday in England and the United Kingdom, as a matter of fact. And with that, Thomas, good morning. Good afternoon, pardon me. Thanks for taking the time to be with us.
Good morning, Lockwood.
Let's talk here for a few moments about your day yesterday. What did you do?
Well, I was out campaigning for the Remainers, and in my constituency, we voted 75% in favor of Remain. Unfortunately, my constituency was not the winning constituency, so to speak.
Let's be clear about this. You're an expat, so you're an American citizen, and you've been living almost the past 40 some odd years there in
44.
44. Okay, I've been counting in England. What about this that caught your attention that you wanted the United Kingdom to stay in the EU?
I'm very much an internationalist. I may live here in the UK, but I'm very much an internationalist. And I believe in cooperation between countries to solve problems. And I don't believe in isolationism. I don't believe in just standing alone, going it alone. We live in a global economy, increasingly global economy. And the answer lies in working towards greater globalization, not against it. That is my belief. That is my very strong belief. Otherwise, you are really struggling, swimming against the tide of history.
Okay. I wanted to give some background on this in light of your support for the remainder. Let's talk about your activities yesterday. I know that you were going to be in polling places. You had mentioned the possibility of actually participating in...
Unfortunately, that didn't come off.
Okay.
So I just sat by the television until 6 o'clock in the morning.
Wow. What time did you get home? Right now, as we're talking to you, it's early afternoon. Have you gotten any sleep?
I've got a few hours sleep, yes, but I'm there for you, Lockwood, you know that.
Oh, thank you very much. Tom Arms, of course, with Look Ahead Radio, and also heard every Wednesday here on Viewpoints. Tom, let's now talk about the reaction there, particularly in the city of London. London, of course, was a predominantly Remainder group of people, although the previous mayor of London was opposed to remaining in the EU.
But not the current mayor.
Not the current mayor. What's the mood there in London?
I have never seen so many long faces.
Really?
The stock market has just plummeted. The pound has lost 10% of its value, and it will lose more probably today. This is going to have all the economists, not just me, everyone says this is going to have a knock-on effect on the world economy. You can't have the world's fifth largest economy just pull out of a trading bloc like the European community without the rest of the world sneezing at the very least and probably catching a very, very bad cold. The world economy is in a very feeble state anyway. You don't need this sort of thing to add to its problems.
Well, of course, there's discussions now, and I've been reading this since early this morning, U.S. time, that it'll take many years before the exit really occurs. So a lot can happen in that period of time. Is there some discussion about, a further treaties and relationships being strengthened as a result of this?
There have to be. But,
okay.
Those discussions won't be taking place in a vacuum either, because I think there's a very good chance that the European community could completely dissolve. And that is not good. Right. That is not good for America. I'm sorry, you want a stable Europe.
All right, let's talk about that very quickly, because I want to go back to the reaction there in England, particularly the topic of world reaction to this, European reaction, I'll use that term. What are you seeing now? What have you been hearing over the past 8 hours, roughly?
Well, we've had Angela Merkel give a speech. We've had the French President, François Hollande, give a speech. We've had the Commission President, Jean-Claude Juncker, give a speech. And they all said they are very sad, they are very upset, and they've all called for the rest of Europe to unite. They have also said that they will not negotiate a favorable trade deal with Britain. They've actually come out and said that. Why? Because they're worried about contagion.
Okay, that's right.
They're worried that if Britain gets a good deal, then other countries who also have these same divisive forces in them, these people who want to break away, the populist forces seeking simple solutions, that they will point to Britain and say, well, You gave Britain a good deal. We're going to leave too. Give us the same deal.
And Britain had a pretty good deal originally under the EU arrangements to begin with, and we've talked about that in the past. Let's go back to the events there in England. David Cameron has announced that he is going to be stepping down as in his capacity.
His position's totally untenable.
Okay. What are the options? You've got, I understand, the previous mayor of London is a possible candidate, but what about the Independent Party? And it's interesting. Labour Party was apparently embarrassed by this, as well as the Conservative.
There's been a vote of no confidence in the Labour leader, or there's been a call for a vote of no confidence in the Labour leader. He was a complete disaster during the campaign. I don't know what would happen with Boris Johnson. He did lead the Brexit campaign, but the country is so split, and the other half hates him, literally hates him with a passion for what he did. They feel that he stabbed people in the back because for a long time, he was in favor of the EU. And a lot of people think he just came out in favor of the Leave campaign for his own personal political ambitions. I think, he's not flavor of the month with at least half of the people.
So that's the Labour Party. The other party?
No, that's Conservative.
Oh, Conservative.
Conservative is Boris Johnson.
Okay.
Labour.
Labour?
Jeremy Corbyn was just, he put party interest before national interest. He refused to appear on any platform with any member of any other political party.
What is the future then of there's an independent party, Mr. Farage? Am I pronouncing
Farage. Nigel Farage. Nigel Farage, if they have an election, I would say that the UK Independence Party, UKIP, would win a lot of seats from Labour, but there are no plans to have an election. At the moment, they have only one seat in Parliament, so there's no chance that they could, put forward a prime ministerial candidate or anything like that with only one seat in Parliament. But I think you're going to see a very, very rough time for the Labour Party and a very rough time for the Conservative. The two sort of key parties are going to suffer mightily.
Well, that leads to the question, where do they look for leadership?
I don't know.
Okay.
That's part of the uncertainty. That's part of the fear. It all goes into this great melting pot of uncertainty.
Our guest this afternoon, we're talking to him early afternoon in London, and that is, of course, Tom Arms of Look Ahead Radio. I'm going to close with this question for you, Tom. Looking ahead, what can we expect next week? Will there be some meetings?
There's a European Council meeting on Tuesday. That's the heads of government in Brussels. So Cameron will go to that, and he will tell them, I'm quitting. Britain is quitting the EU. So that's officially where he has to say, I'm certain that he'll have to say at that meeting, tell them officially what's happening. And I should think that the renegotiated arrangements or the renegotiations for treaty arrangements would probably start then and there.
We look forward to our conversation with you next Wednesday. By then, we'll have some more clarity on the events, but I wanted to give you an opportunity to just bring us up to date on the activities there in London. And with that, Tom, thank you as always for being part of the program today.
Well, thank you, Lockwood.
Viewpoints on the Talk Station, FM 107, AM 1240.